Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography right here on Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace hanging out with Alejandra. You probably remember her from our Gobo video that we shot a couple weeks ago in the studio. Well, we're outside today and I'm going to show you a very easy way to balance our ambient light with a studio strobe. When you have a flash on your camera, you have two exposures. One exposure is the ambient light. That's the light that you can't control. That's everything in the sky, the sun and the clouds and all of that stuff. We can't control that light. We have to make sure we set our camera to make that properly exposed. The second exposure we have at the same time is our studio flash. So I have a little flash right here behind me. We can control that light. So what you need to do is first set our exposure for the ambient light and then match that with our studio strobe, and everything will be all good. So the first thing I'm going to do is shoot a photo with no flash at all. And so what I want to do is, we've got all these features, these clouds and stuff in the sky. I want to make sure I expose that maybe a tiny bit underexposed. So what I'm doing here is I have my camera set to manual mode. Now this will work with any camera, Sony, Nikon, Canon, Fujifilm, it doesn't matter. This will work. So set your camera in manual mode. I have my ISO as low as it will go, ISO 100, and then I have my camera set to my camera's sync speed. That's 1/160th of a second for my Leica M10. If you're not sure what sync speed is, don't worry, Gavin Hoey just made a really fantastic video about sync speed. I put a link to that video in the description of this video, so you can check that out. So ISO 100, sync speed. Now I need to figure out my aperture value. To do that, I'm just gonna look through my camera, use the built-in meter, and then figure out what it tells me the proper exposure is. So I'm doing that right now, making some adjustments, and it is telling me I have a proper exposure of f4, so I'm going to take a photo really fast. Look right at me, Alan, you're perfect. And, well, as expected, we have a lot of light coming from behind, and so Alejandra is underexposed. We expected that. So we need to fill in that, the underexposed parts with a flash. That's what fill flash is called. So I have a studio strobe right here behind me. This is a Profoto B2. And what I need to do now is meter this light so that it matches the exposure that I already have, which is f4. So I happen to have a light meter right here. I'll turn this on. Luckily for us, Alejandra is a photographer as well, so she knows how to use this meter. So I'm gonna give this to you, and now I'll grab my little trigger really fast. I'm gonna put that on my camera and I'll do that. It's metering at f4.5. I'll take the power down just a hair, just like that. Just a little bit more. I want it to be about 4. Okay, now we're at 4. We're metered at f4, which is perfect. Now, if you'll notice, I have no light modifier on my flash at all. We're gonna start there. So you're gonna hand me that. Now let's take a shot and see how this compares to the original shot that we took. So again, look right at my lens here. Beautiful, gorgeous. Just like that, turn your head this way with your eyes just toward me. There you go. I love that. Awesome. And now we can see that Alejandra is popped off of the background simply by adding this flash. Step 1, meter for the ambient light with your camera. Set all the settings correctly for that. Step 2, meter the flash to match that setting, and then start shooting. So now we're gonna take a few pictures. What I'm also going to do here is I'm gonna let the sun go down a little bit. We're gonna add a softbox to this so we can soften up the light, but the principles are always the same. Meter for the ambient light, then meter your studio strobe so that it matches, and take some photos. One of the things that I noticed when I was shooting is that I had a very hard light, and so we were getting some specular highlights on Alejandra's face, which made her look shiny, even though she's not. She's got great skin, her makeup is perfect. So what I did is I changed and added a Profoto 2-foot octabox. That's just gonna soften up the light and makes things less specular, and so that'll make you not so shiny. That's one of the tricks for any flash. Make the flash larger and you'll get less shine, less specular highlights. The other thing I did is I ditched my tripod because I want to be able to move around and get this entire scene. And specifically I want to do that because I'm shooting with a 35mm lens, which is not usually a portrait lens, but I want to get the background and the scene and all of Alejandra, and it just looks sort of cool. So the first thing we need to do, because we switched our light modifier, is to meter. Remember, I'm shooting still at f4, ISO 100, 160th of a second. So let's meter this really fast, Alejandra. So we're looking, and that is metering at 3.6. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of light here. I've got a remote control on my camera. This is a Profoto Air remote, and so I don't have to actually touch the flash at all. We're now metering at f4. Everything is set. And now I can zip back here, make sure I'm all focused up. And what I want to do is, perfect. I want to take one photo without and one photo with. So that pose right there is the perfect pose. So we're going to do that without a flash. So this is without a flash. Beautiful. And then here's one with a flash. Same exact thing. You can compare these two and you can see clearly that adding that flash adds the punch that we need. And it's just perfect. Easy. All right, now I'm going to do something that's sort of counterintuitive. I was shooting with a 35mm lens. I really like that, but I'm going to go even wider. So I just switched to a 28mm lens, which is something you would never use with a portrait, but we're going to see how it looks. All right, let's just see what happens. This is not something I would normally do. Totally counterintuitive, but I think it looks better. So let's keep shooting some of that. In fact, I'm gonna get close. Well, I think these photos look really wonderful, Alejandra, and it's very, very simple. You have to just meter for the ambient light and then adjust your flash so that it matches, and then take shots. The other thing that we have to remember to do is take some chances. So we took a chance on a 35mm lens, which is a little bit wider than a normal standard 50 or 70 or something like that. But then we went the opposite direction and used a 28mm lens, and that even worked. And so I really like how this is set up and how it works. Try this at home. You can do this with a speed light. You can do this with a studio strobe. You can do this with just about any kind of camera that you have. It just works. It's really simple and really fun. Hey, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to Adorama TV. It's free. And also turn on the bell so you get notifications. And please follow me on Instagram. I'm posting behind the scenes photos and videos of all the photo shoots and stuff that I'm doing. Alejandra, you can also follow her on Instagram. She is a photographer and a model, and so I've put links to both of those Instagram accounts in the description of this video so you can check out her stuff. She's a really, really good photographer, so make sure you check out her work. All right, thanks again for joining us, and I will see you again next time.